Welcome to the Bill Levinson Experience, a motivational podcast relating to the insurance brokerage industry and business in general. And now, here's Bill Levinson.
Okay, welcome to the Bill Levinson Experience podcast. Here we are for number 54, which I can't believe we're sitting here towards the end of 2024, and it's my birthday month. That's why I'm wearing pink, by the way.
Sunday.
So we dedicate October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month. We make a nice donation, have a luncheon. Everyone wears pink on Monday, and then we'll send out a nice marketing piece. So we make it fun. Here we are sitting with Alec Luaces, and we're very, very excited about this for a lot of reasons, which I'll share quickly, and then I'm going to let him take the wheel, so to speak. So, we have a lot of younger agents in this business, a lot of middle-aged agents, a lot of older agents, a lot of veteran rookies, all over the board. And it's easy for the younger agents, the younger generation, to kind of take a look in, get licensed, and say, oh my gosh, they get so intimidated. They look at some of the older MDRT agents and say, I need to be doing this for 20 years, for 30 years to be successful. And I think a lot of them make it maybe a year if they're lucky, and then they kind of get a disencouraged taste in their mouth, and they're out, and they're on to the next industry. So what I love about Alec, and I don't want to steal his thunder, is he hasn't been doing this that long. He's pretty new in the business. And what's unbelievable, he's been with us about 5 or 6 months now, and he's got over $100,000 of pending business and annuities in-house. So he's proven himself, personally, and with his agency. He already has a few agents that he works with. They're all doing great. So I wanted him to come on and share the story with you all, because after all, the name of the podcast, Bill Levinson Experience, and it's all about motivation, inspiration, and helping these younger agents learn how to move the needle in and out of our industry. So with that said, I want to introduce Alec and just thank you for taking the time. We appreciate you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, of course. So let's go into first gear for a minute. Just if we can back up and tell us how it all started for you, like even before the industry, and then how you wound up in this industry. I think that would be good. Yeah,
so right after college, I got started at Merrill Lynch, Wealth Management.
Interesting.
So that's where the knowledge for, more financial-based products came from, was there. And I studied finance in University of Florida, graduated summa cum laude. So that was the origin, I guess, the foundation of where my knowledge came for a lot of these products, and to be able to understand them. Because I think in this industry that most people don't understand really like what an IUL is, for example. Mm-hmm. Because financially they're not able to explain it, and they don't know how it works on the front end nor the back end. When I say the back end, I mean more, where it grows and eventually gets into within like that 5% of the death benefit, the TEFRA rule. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay, and nor do they understand the loans. Or how to utilize this asset, how to structure it. So that's that was kind of like my background. I did take an internship at Northwestern Mutual.
Oh, okay. So you learned a little bit there.
In 2017. Yeah, so that's where, my ability to learn a lot of these products and understand them, and even understand things as complex as like Lloyd's of London came from, was, was from studying back then. The exam, going through the internship. Not my kind of place per se, because they're very limited, I think, on products, and also how they teach you to structure things is inherently not in the best interest of the client, in my opinion. Yeah. And I think a lot of this industry lacks transparency.
Yes, I agree 100%.
Yep.
And I think those career type of companies, those platforms, they're good for newer agents, but you have to kind of see what's past that.
Yeah.
And a lot of agents get stuck in that model, and next thing you know, it's 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, and they wind up retiring, at one of these, I won't even say the names, but one of these career type models, which is good, but you can do much better once you cut your teeth and you're out in the brokerage world, so to speak. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
But it was great for you because you interned there, you got to learn a little bit, right? And whatever it is, you're still in college and you're working at Northwestern. So, and then after college was After college, you
was
went
actually
right to Merrill Lynch.
Was it? No, actually, yeah, right to Merrill Lynch, and then
Okay,
shortly
right.
after that was a beverage business. That's another conversation in
Yeah,
South America.
well, we want to get into that too.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
we
yeah.
want to hear the details.
Yeah.
Okay.
But as far as the insurance goes, yeah, I mean, I'm still in that beverage business where, we have market disrupting products halfway across the world. And right now we're in Bolivia and Paraguay, soon to be Brazil. So we do hard seltzer, sugar-free energy drink, more products on the way. We're also a contract manufacturer. So we make, products for a company like Volt, and they are actually a sponsor of Real Madrid.
Unbelievable.
So things like that,
Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you graduated college, right? And then that it was Merrill Lynch,
Mm-hmm.
and then you got into the beverage manufacturing business.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then you jumped in there, and you obviously blew up that company. I know you're successful with that company as well. And that's when you got back into insurance? Is that kind of how the path went?
Yeah,
Okay.
I wanted something in the U.S.
Okay.
Because no matter how good things look,
Yeah.
it's still a third world country.
Yes. Yeah.
And it's still a nation where anything can blow up at any day.
Yes.
And there's a lot of geopolitical risk in places like that. So I thought it was smart to have something in the United States.
Yeah.
I had been looking for a while on what to get into, and I've seen the successes of certain places that do health insurance.
Yeah.
I won't mention those, and also life insurance. And I had a good in, or what I thought was a good in, at the former place I was at, and it was a good launch pad, so to speak, because they primarily focus on express issue products. Very basic products. They only really do, IULs, term, final expense, and they kind of teach you how to structure them, and how to sell them. And it's pretty rudimentary, but it was a good launch pad.
Okay.
And they work with a few carriers, maybe not the best carriers, but either way, it taught me what I needed. And then when I, came over here, it really opened up my world, and I really got to see, what you can actually do for a client.
Yes.
What are truly good carriers? What's actually like a traditional whole life? When and where, how that can be utilized.
Yeah. And where you're not just focused on certain products they want you to sell.
Yes.
Now it's like you can actually find the best carrier and product for that certain prospect and do the best thing for them. And then in turn, the best thing for you, and it's a win-win.
Yeah, exactly. Like before, my hands were a little tied behind my back. So, recently there was a client that I had that he was paying $2,900 a month for a term policy.
Yeah.
A lot.
Yeah.
$4 million coverage. He got rated as preferred. But he's 57.
Yeah.
And it was actually through Banner. And, he obviously ran the risk of outliving that policy. I'm like, if you live at age 83, that's all gone.
Yeah.
That's like about $870,000 over the course of that time. But like an IUL wasn't really the best fit for him either. The cost of insurance would be pretty high, and he needed that $4 million death benefit. So what I got him into was a GUL, like protective.
Okay, so you got him out of the term into the GUL, and obviously it's a little more expensive, but this is a product that he can have forever. There's equity in there.
Yeah.
He can do so many things with that type of product. So you did the right thing.
Yeah, $5,000 a month, and then he wouldn't risk outliving it.
Yeah.
And it wouldn't risk it blowing up either if the cost of insurance is too high in an IUL.
Yeah.
So it was a happy medium.
That's very smart. What I want all of the younger agents and the audience, for that matter. I mean, it really doesn't matter what business you're in, but just think about that. Here's a guy, 29 years old, right? He's already been successful in two industries, okay? And in the insurance side for about a year to 2 years, the second time around when you came back, and he's making it happen, folks. That to me is the proof in the pudding. It means everything. So whatever you're doing, it's working, and it's working great. So in fact, that's why I wanted Alec to come down here and do this in person. So I also want to thank you for that before I forget.
Absolutely.
But there's so much that we can learn, and it doesn't matter what your age is or how long you're doing this, because like I said, he's got hundreds of thousands of dollars in premium right now in-house. So again, he's making it happen. What I think everybody would love to hear, if you don't mind sharing, what do you think, like what do you attribute to your success, and what is it? Is it about, the discipline? Is it about maybe some classes you took, or the college days, or anything you can share about that? I think they'd love to know.
That's a long-winded answer. College, I always viewed it as, did I waste my time there?
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah.
I did. But at the same time, I think it gave me a level of knowledge and insight and professionalism that allows me to talk to the clients the way that I do.
Mm-hmm.
Because I am able to get a lot of trust in them, maybe because of the verbiage I use. There's fluidity there. They inherently trust me. The other thing, of course, is relentless obsession.
Yeah.
That's all I did for 7 days a week, 15 hours a day, was read. And if I wasn't reading, I was listening to a podcast or YouTube channel on life insurance. There's a lot of good YouTube channels, very educational. Talking about whole life IULs, how they're really meant to be structured. What's the long-term play, how they can be utilized. To maybe invest in assets like real estate. Meanwhile, the money is still in there, growing and accumulating, like in an index loan for Allianz, for example.
Yeah.
So just things like that, and I think that relentless obsession every single day, like even when you don't want to, that's what matters.
Yeah, you're right, and it's very interesting, and what's neat about Alec, and I picked this up from day one, is we share so many of the same beliefs, traits, everything, when it comes to working out, discipline, work ethic. We even both love cars, and there's just so many things, and I think when you look at, and it doesn't matter what business you're in, when you look at the big picture and you look at a lot of these successful people at any age, you're going to see patterns of a lot of the same habits and personal and business, and you're hearing it, again with the two of us. So in a short time, what he's built, okay, and now the secret sauce is, right, there really is none. It's putting in the time and effort over and over and over again. Yep. And you can tell, even by the way you're talking to me, I've been in this business over 20 years. And he's in this business for a total of 2 or 3 years when you look at the big picture. Yeah. And he can talk with the best of them. And it's the same lingo, same language. So obviously it's working. Yeah. So what would you say to those agents? YouTube searches, and was there any certain classes, motivational speakers, anything that you really loved that worked for you that you can share? Any certain podcast even?
I think a good person to learn from selling wise would be like Jeremy Minor.
Yeah.
Because like my attitude with the client is never like, oh, I need him to buy this. And it's never like, oh, I need to sell this. Like it doesn't feel like I'm selling someone per se.
Right.
Like I'm not trying to trick them to getting life insurance.
Right.
Like I am trying to be as transparent with them as possible.
Yes.
And then guide them towards, the right road. Same thing, like I'm working on a big annuity right now. And, I just did a lot of fact finding.
Yeah.
See what her needs are, what her concerns are.
Yeah.
And then eventually land that plane at the right place, not only the right product, but even down to like the right indexes.
Yep. To
start off with.
I love it. So it's like just doing the right thing, being transparent, educating, and they want it, and they wind up coming back to you saying, "Alec, I'm ready. Let's sign up. Let's make an appointment. Let's do whatever it takes."
Yeah, I'll hear them. They're like, "You're my guy."
Yeah.
And that's also, I think, another important thing too in this business is that you want to be their everything guy.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
You can only do so much as an individual.
Yep.
But one person who's taught that to me is my good friend Mark Jolensic. That he started a B&I chapter in Miami that I'm a part of, and he does property and casualty. He also does private equity, and then his wife does the mortgage lending side. Okay, so for example, if I'm on the phone with a client and they need help with health insurance, I don't do health insurance.
Yep.
I don't like it. It's not my thing. And I have somebody phenomenal and trustworthy who I can refer that out to. If they need help saving money on their car insurance or home insurance, I have my friend Mark I can refer that to. So whatever they might need in life, I have somebody trustworthy and competent for them.
Yes.
I think that's very important because like how it shifts the frame of the consumer's mind and their head of view. Because you're not just calling them up, a guy in the cubicle and you're the life insurance guy.
Yep.
You become their guy.
The trusted source for everything. Yeah.
And for everything. Yes.
And then it's not just them or that family. Then it's referrals.
Yeah.
It's my cousin needs this or that, and then you become the go-to for everything. Which is so true. Yeah. I know. I love that. And what's interesting, and I remember talking to you in the beginning when you first came on board.
Yeah.
Well, first Carrie runs in my office and says, "Bill, I just spoke to this guy, Alec. He seems like such a great guy. He's doing a great job. He goes, you got to introduce yourself. And he started telling me your story. Yeah. And then when we spoke, I said, Alec, man, you have such a great thing going. I said, do you want to, recruit agents and what level do you want them at and this and that? And I remember you saying to me, and I'll never forget this. You said, Bill, you know what? I want to do the right thing. I don't want to just take on agents for the sake of taking on agents. I don't want to take advantage of anyone. I want to make sure the few agents I'm working with, I can trust them 100%, meaning you first, and you can trust them 100%. I remember you telling me that. And I was like, wow, that's impressive. Yeah. Because most GAs or MGAs say, you know what, Bill, I have 100 agents, and if you can send me 100 more, let's go. And it's just that concept of throwing stuff against the wall.
You don't
look at it like that. No. That's important. No. It's a big key.
Yeah, because my perspective on it's like, do you want to be in the country that has the highest population? Yeah. Or would you rather be in a company that has the highest per capita GDP?
Yeah. Totally.
Definitely the latter. Production and being surrounded by good people. And I think that's an important thing too. And everybody in my team. It's funny too because before that I said I would never have a team. Yeah. That's why I said. I just came on here with one person.
Yeah.
And it was just because me and him were looking for an opportunity to service wealthier clients. Yeah. Because where we were at before, we had our hands tied behind our back. Yeah. There's things that we couldn't do. There's products that we needed, carriers that we needed that we didn't have. A back office that will be able to help us with advanced market cases. Yeah. And we have a lot on the way. For example, I have a family of 20 that, not my family, but a case where their policies are now blowing up because of bad business 19 years later now.
Oh, jeez.
And not only is that the concern, but they also need more coverage.
Yeah.
And I needed to be in a system where I can confidently and competently put them in the right place.
Of course, and have access to the right back office, the right products.
Right.
That's
right.
A big point.
And they have a massive conglomerate. And they might even need a big disability coverage for their employees.
Yep. Or critical illness or whatever it is, ROP products.
Exactly.
And that what it brings up too is another point, and this is a good learning lesson is. And we're not going to mention any names, but there's a lot of these agencies out there, these MLM agencies. Obviously we have the brokerage side, we have the career side, then we have this MLM. There's a lot of fluff on that side where like they encourage you to go. We don't even want you selling. Go recruit your family members and your friends, and we'll get them licensed, and we'll pay to have them licensed, and we'll build out your hierarchy. And there's so many myths and a lot of gray in that system.
There is.
And we were talking about it earlier with the career side, which I don't think is such a bad thing, but on the MLM side, in my opinion, it is a bad thing. And you have these blinders on, and they want you to have these blinders on, and you don't have access to the best products, the best systems. It's all about recruiting. And you were in a similar platform.
I was.
Just like years ago.
Yeah, and they try to make you drink the Kool-Aid of recruit. And I remember telling them, recruit, how about you recruit some damn knowledge?
Yeah, 100%.
There's not one of you here that can sell an annuity.
Yeah.
There's not one of you here that can actually talk about an index outside the S&P 500. Exactly. And you probably don't even know it is comprised in the S&P 500.
Because you're a smart guy. But imagine some of these guys and girls, they don't get that.
No, they don't.
They wind up,
What you have is you essentially have a bunch of salesmen in a financial industry.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's the issue. And the issue is that you have 99% of the insurance world that, is focused on recruiting.
100%.
And I do have a big team now, and they're all getting up and running. Some of their contracts are held hostage, so to speak, which are decent contracts and relatively important to their flow because that's what they're used to. But what I told each one of them was like, guys, we're not in the recruiting business. Yeah. We're not.
And that goes.
And I go, I want to meet every single person, and if they don't have my green light, they're not coming in. Yeah, because I want to make sure that they're going to be, good people here, but also production-wise.
Because you're doing it the right way. And if you notice, the common thread here, it's the right way, not just for the consumer, for an agent you're working with, for your business model, for your beverage company. It's the same exact mindset.
Yes.
And I love that. And that's why you're successful at a young age. It's great. I love it. And that's why I wanted them on, folks, just so everyone understands. But no, it's awesome. It's great to see.
Yeah.
Let's shift gears again for a second. What I want to talk about a little bit, and there's so many agents out there. looking for a good lead source. They don't know where to begin. They don't know they should spend money here or be part of a networking event or whatever. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
So I know this could go on for hours, just this conversation within itself, but what do you recommend? You know, what's working for you? Anything you can share with the agents?
Yeah, for sure. As far as that goes, I don't think it should be so focused on one single source.
Yes.
You know, at the end of the day, you are the source.
Yep.
You know, and that could be from a multitude of places. Yeah, it could be from buying leads. And I think that's a great place to start and cut your teeth, without a doubt. But you want to think about it as building like a comprehensive pipeline. You know, so that could be things like, you know, posting on social media. You know, recently I've been guilty of not posting on social media because I've kept a lot of what I've been doing and what I've been up to kind of quiet. Yep. But I am going to be getting into that very soon. You know, Meta is a great way to attract leads with the, you know, the right ads and ad spend, without a doubt. I want to take a left in that industry where everybody's kind of taking a right, you know, because everybody's so focused on, you know, pushing IULs and mortgage protection that, you know, I want to be marketing for, you know, how to avoid probate.
Yeah.
And then cross-sell and then do estate planning.
Yes. Come in with a little different message.
Yes, exactly. And then there you have an annuity opportunity and likely a very big life insurance case. Because a lot of people aren't aware of estate exemption taxes. You know, and that number, no matter what, at the end of the next year is getting halved.
Yeah, that's exactly.
And how much bigger does that make your market?
Yep. So it's just educate.
Educate. Right, exactly. And then on the other end, you know, warn people about the dangers of, you know, life policies that appear permanent, like an IUL. Uh-huh. And, you know, of course, if they're not structured the right way, that will blow up years down the road.
Absolutely.
You know,
there's a ton of lawsuits just about that.
Yes, there is.
It's insane.
Yeah, and there's a certain, you know, couple carriers in particular that don't let you even structure the policies, and they're inherently very dangerous.
Yes.
You know, because right now they show a higher cap rate, but that could go down in the next couple of years. A lot of people don't realize that.
So basically it's all about these agents figuring out like your why, right? And then get that message across to as many people as possible. Open doors, tell your story, and do the right thing, and it'll come back full circle.
Yeah, absolutely. And I also think as well with the pipeline that we were discussing is that, you know, every single place that you go to, your business follows you.
Yes.
That's an opportunity.
Yep.
And it should always be a conversation. If it's something that if this is like an industry that you actually enjoy, I think that's the only reason why you should be in it.
Yes.
Otherwise, you're going to be miserable because it can be a tough industry.
Exactly.
It could kick you out.
100%. That's what I wanted Alec to share right there.
Yeah.
I'll never forget, my dad brought in his good friend who was a professor at the local college, and he would teach financial services, education, blah, blah, blah. And he would come in for maybe an hour every day. And he said to me, Bill, he's like, this industry could be the best dream in the world, and you're going to love it and be on a cloud, or the worst nightmare ever. It's what you make of it. And he was spot on. And it goes to exactly what you just said. Yeah. And it's true. It's true. It's could be grueling. It's challenging. I mean, at times you'll get a beautiful case and you're like, wow, this is unbelievable. I love this industry. You know, there's other times where you had a big case, maybe that didn't get approved, and you know, a client canceled 2 appointments, whatever. But you gotta be tough.
That's another thing for the success is that you have to have resilience.
Yes.
And grit.
Yes.
Because I remember going through that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not perfect.
Yeah.
You know, I remember going through, you know, the first few months in the industry, and you know, you'd have the client cancel or do a no-show, or you have something where you thought it was like a sure case.
Yeah.
And then they just blank on you, or this excuse, that excuse, or they maybe get denied, right? And then a month later, you do close.
Yeah.
And they want to cancel because of, you know, some foreseen event.
Oh.
And it's like those times, like, you know, this business in that way can put you through a bit of an emotional roller coaster, and it can be challenging mentally.
Yeah.
And you can doubt yourself, you can doubt the industry, you can doubt, you know, your future and what you're going to do if you're going to stay here. But if you get through that, I think you're golden.
I agree. Yep. And I feel like those challenges we go through, you know, on a wholesale. We're a distributor. We don't. We're not involved in retail whatsoever.
Right.
And it's the same exact mindset, though. I know there's days when I get on Sawgrass Expressway, and I'm like, I have the music turned up. I'm like, man, what a great day. I feel like $1 million.
Yeah.
You know, and that might happen 2 or 3 days a week.
Yeah.
You know, and then there's another 2 or 3 days where you're like, oh my gosh, maybe the music's off, you know, you're like, oh man, it's 9 o'clock at night, you know, and it's like you just got kicked in the stomach, and it was tough. And I think in any business, you got to figure out like, what is that safety lever, you know, that's going to get you back to like the norm, you know, because you got to get back on your feet again. And if not, you know, you wind up being on the ground for a week, for a month, and now your business is affected, your family's affected.
Yeah, right.
You know.
Right. You know, I don't have a family depending on me, but in my mind, I actually put that I do.
Yeah, exactly.
Because it's like I'm working for them. I'm working for the future family.
Same.
You know, that's who I think about. That's what I think about.
What do you, when you have those days? I'm just curious.
Yeah.
What's your safety lever? You know, is it a podcast? Is it maybe no music? Is it maybe a mentor? You pick up the phone.
No,
everybody has something.
It's definitely music.
Yeah.
You know, it's definitely music, the gym.
Yeah.
You know, regrouping. And maybe it's a little bit easier for me because I do have a team. Yeah. So just getting on the phone with them to teach them something.
Yeah.
Or getting on the phone with one of their clients.
Yeah.
Will make my day, because it's not about like an end goal. I don't even have an end goal with this. I really don't. I don't see myself retiring from this. You know, I only see myself finding myself deeper into the niches in this world.
Yes.
You know, whether it be, you know, estate planning, wealthy foreign nationals, disability cases for an entire company. You know, but it's really about the journey. You know, every day that I'm on the phone with one of them, helping them out on a case, or talking to one of their clients and helping them close the case. That's what I enjoy doing. You know, it's about the journey. So like those little momentary highs is what, and adrenaline kicks is what gets you through.
Yeah, no, that's great.
That's great.
So it's like giving back. So putting yourself to the side, giving back, helping out these agents, right, and talking to your teammates, so to speak, and that's what gets you back, and that's great. That's what gets it.
Yeah, and then their gratitude back to me it's awesome.
Yeah, and you know what's funny?
That's what I live for. So.
Is right before we started recording this, is you were telling me about helping your agents.
Yeah.
And how they said to you, oh my gosh, Alec, I'm doing this 7-8 years, and it feels like you're doing this longer than I have. It's unbelievable, you know, that you're not new in the business, but newer compared to where they were. So it's the same thing. I love it.
Yeah, right. It's like Chris said, you know, he's like, I thought you've been in this for like 10 years. Like 5 years.
But that says so much about you and how much you've learned and these tools, right? And these little tips for success. And that's what we're sharing today.
Yeah, that's what I'll do for fun. You know, like I'll plug into the theater at my house and put something up on YouTube and watch that till like 2-3 in the morning sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, there's so much information out there. Like we're so lucky to live in the age that we are.
100.
Like I can't imagine starting this business when you did.
Yeah.
And having to refer to like Yellow Pages.
Yeah.
You know, having to read books.
Yeah.
You know, I don't mind reading, but I much prefer you know, listening and visually watching, you know, somebody break all this stuff down on YouTube, for example.
Yes, you are so right. So we're talking about the younger generation utilizing, you know, the latest technology, the latest resources, and I feel like there's so much at your disposal. Yeah. So do you want to talk about, like, what do you prefer? You're dealing with clients, or you have to do some research, or you have an appointment set up at 8 p.m. Do you prefer Zoom or GoToWebinar or FaceTime? You know, let's talk a little bit about what you like to use and leverage.
You know, traditionally I just use Crankwheel, because it is a very fluid system as far as a screen share.
Can you share, for those of you that aren't familiar, can you share a little bit about it?
Yeah, I'll explain it. So I'll just be on the phone with them, and then from my computer, that's like an add-on you could put into Google Chrome, and then it'll screen share, you know, either my tab or my screen perfectly, and it'll be fluid. They can access that on their phone or their computer and put it on their TV and follow along. I've had clients do all of those, okay? Now, an argument could be made that you don't have the same inherent trust as seeing you like on a Zoom or a Google Meet, which I've utilized both Google Meet and Zoom. Typically, I do Google Meet.
Yep.
Because I like the fluidity of how everything, you know, stays, you know, with Google. I'm a big fan, you know, of all their products.
Do you find it a little more challenging to build the relationship and the trust online, or do you look at it the same exact way as sitting in person?
I look at it the same exact way.
Wow.
You know, some people are comfortable. You know, there's some people that might not even want to do Zoom. They might just want the phone call, because some people are, you know, maybe a little bit uncomfortable with that barrier. So I will give them the option. You know, about half the time I'm on the phone with them, I would say, just the phone, and then doing like a screen share with them. And I can I mean, maybe it's just me because I am a people person.
Yeah.
But I can absolutely build rapport with somebody the same way over a phone call.
Interesting.
As I can with somebody in person.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Now everybody's different. So of course you can have a person that maybe that trust barrier isn't quite fully broken because they don't see you and see who you are. And there's like a doubt in their subconscious about you just because they're not seeing you. That's a case by case point, because you might get a little bit of hesitancy from a client to, for them to give you maybe like their banking information, social.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
But if they see, like your license, your card, and they look you up on Instagram, so you're a real person. You're not trying to scam them from halfway across the world.
That's a good point.
It's just a case by case.
Yeah. And you as the agent, I feel like you have to have the confidence too in yourself and the platform, or else it doesn't even matter what they're thinking. So
right.
You have to be confident. You can do a few practice runs with your spouse or friends or whatever. But that's a good point. I think what's also important we have a lot of middle-aged to older agents that will say to me, Bill, I'm just so used to meeting people at a living room table, or at Starbucks, and I'm not comfortable with this whole Zoom thing. And the bottom line is, what's starting to happen and what's going to continue happening, the younger generation wants to do business like this through Zoom and through a phone call and through your website and social media through a DM. So you have to get comfortable, at least with the basics, I would say, and practice. I think it's important.
I do too, and I think that's a limiting belief.
Yes.
They just need to break that barrier. They do it a couple times.
Yep.
They realize how efficient it is.
Yep. 100%.
Because in our business now, if you're licensed in Hawaii, is it really realistic for you to be meeting every client in person?
Right.
No way. It's much more efficient. I have guys that have, meetings from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. and they're multiple clients, multiple states.
Yep.
It's very efficient. We're lucky to live in this world today.
Yes.
Being a life insurance agent 20 years ago is completely different than now.
Yes, that's so important. You're exactly right. And it's funny you mention Hawaii because we have two agents. One is in Tennessee and one is in Hawaii. And this is even pre-COVID.
Yeah.
And in fact, one of them was on 2 different episodes on the podcast.
Yeah.
And they are MDRT producers. And consistently, they're clearing millions and millions of dollars of premium every year. It's unbelievable. Yeah. And I'll never forget, he said to me, pre-COVID, Bill, we do 100% of our business online and through a phone call. 100% pre-COVID, before 2021. And here we are now, post-COVID 2024, and they're doing even a better job because they were already comfortable with those systems before. Yeah. And they're mid to late 30s and still crushing it. So it's a great point, and I think you definitely just got to accept the change and jump in and try it out, make it happen.
Yes, you do.
All right, so no, this was good, and I also want to downshift again, right? We're back to the cars scene.
Yeah, the cars, yeah.
You know what I think is so interesting is we're both into cars, and it's not just about having the fancy car, and if you're into dating, I get all these dates set up because I'm in a nice car. No, it's about the networking and the lifestyle and what comes with it. Number one, I enjoy it. I love on a Saturday or Sunday, going to the gym, music on. Number two, the people you meet, it's priceless. And you shared a story with me, I remember, through a text. Yeah. And I was like, wow, this guy's just like me. And it was the fitness bar guy that you
Robert
met at a
Irvine.
car wash or a gas station.
It was a car wash, Robert Irvine. Yep.
Yeah, just tell everyone real quick. I thought that was a good story.
Absolutely, yeah. So I just rolled up to the car wash and I saw that same car he was driving because he was driving a new Bentley GT that he had gotten. And I saw it at the gym. 3 hours later, I happened to go to the same car wash. Yeah. And I was like, were you parked at the gym this morning? And he goes, yeah. I was. And we had like a 45-minute conversation. At the end of it, he's like, you know what? Let me take your number down.
Yeah, just like that.
And, exchange numbers. And he's like, I got a lot of, interesting people to connect you with. And at the end of it, I didn't even know who he was the entire time I'm talking to him. And he's wearing the Fit Crunch shirt. And I put 2 and 2 together. I'm like, oh my God, this is the guy in the front of the box. And he gives, if he gave me his phone number, Robert Irvine.
Yeah, and, that's unreal.
Phenomenal connection. And, I get lucky a lot like that. maybe lucky is not the word to use, because I think you build yourself up your whole life, and maybe you're also raised a certain way.
Yes.
So
yes.
that's people like that, they can feel your energy.
The energy. Yep.
Whether you're sincere,
Yep.
whether you're on the right path,
Yep.
you're
I
passionate. And that was a lot of the conversation that we had. It was about business, impacting others, and that was kind of what it was revolved around.
Yep. And you had your nice car, and he said something about your car.
Yeah, and he has one too. He has a Porsche Turbo GT as well.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm a car collector. I got them all.
And look how it just takes the wall down, like instantly.
It does. It definitely does. And especially if you're genuinely passionate about cars, like any knucklehead that does crypto can go buy a Lamborghini,
right,
and you're gonna feel their energy likely a lot different than somebody who sincerely loves cars like I do.
100%. Yeah, where you can tell the guy that put down 30% and he's paying a mortgage payment every month for his car, or the guy that is sincerely legit about loving fast cars, exotic cars, and into the shifting, and totally different.
It's a bug you get bit by.
Yes.
For me, it was 6 years old. We moved into a new neighborhood, and I saw silver 360 Modena roar down the street, and the feeling of like hearing the car, the sound, seeing it, drive by.
Yeah,
you either love that or you don't.
Yeah.
And it's, for me, it's a sincere love. It's not like I could have a car collection and live on an island.
And
nobody can know about it. No Instagram, nothing.
Yep.
I'll be happy.
Yep. Because it does it for you inside.
It does.
And it's motivating. It makes you want to work hard.
It does.
Do nice things.
Yeah.
And the people you meet is, like we just said, is priceless. And there's so many stories like that. We had a lot of pro athletes on our podcast, and they all came from the car events and the car runs.
Yeah.
So it's a very similar story, and I love that stuff. All right, so we're almost done here. We got a few minutes, but I want to talk about Colossus, about the beverage company, which is Alec wears two hats, and I want him to just give the audience a little 100-foot overview on your other company.
Yeah, so that's a beverage business that's based out of Santa Cruz, Bolivia. That's a very nice city. It was the second fastest growing in the world for a while, right behind Dubai.
Wow.
And that's we're a manufacturer, but we're also a brand. So we have market disrupting products like a hard seltzer. So kind of like White Claw was here in the US.
Yeah.
We were there with this product. 3 more companies have followed suit, and now it's legitimized the product class, which is nice. And we have other things on the way, like a sugar-free energy drink, a water in a can, kind of like Liquid Death did here, but a more classy presentation, because over there, you go get water from, like a nice restaurant, and you have like a cheap, like kind of like a Zephyr Hills bottle sitting at the table.
Yeah.
Aesthetically, not nice.
Yeah.
So we're going to replace that. So that's mainly what we do. And we're also a contract manufacturer.
Okay.
And for example, last week we were putting on, labels for Jose Cuervo bottles.
Wow.
And then also, we make the entire production of a company called Volt, and they are actually the sponsor of Real Madrid.
Wow, unbelievable.
Yeah, so that's the other half.
How did you even get involved with this? I mean...
Yeah. Met my best friends 11 years ago.
Okay.
3 Colombian American brothers.
Wow.
And 4 years ago, this, got started. And 2 years ago, a little over 2 years ago, we kicked it in real high gear. We entered the market officially in June of 2022.
Unreal.
Yep.
Gosh.
Just with that product alone.
Unbelievable.
And
you're lucky. I'm just thinking you're able to run this business here out of Florida, and then have the other business on basically autopilot with your partners, which you're very lucky. You have trustworthy partners.
Yeah, I have to give a lot of credit to them. I did put the right people in place. The commercial manager, but it was a lot of them. It was. We got with the right distributor. That's a huge thing. They're practically a partner. And they're very big. They're Paraguayan based, and now we're in Paraguay. And as soon as we solidify those 2 markets,
global company.
Yeah. Next will be Brazil. That's the monster. I get all the question all the time. Are you going to come to the U.S.? I go, I don't need to. I have a wide open market in Brazil, a market that drinks Monday to Monday. Their drinking culture, I would say, is much heavier than here. And they would love that product.
So what are you more passionate about? Like when you look at these 2 arms, the 2 companies, are you more into the financial services? You more into the beverage side? I mean, what really does it for you, and how do you split it up?
Good question.
Like just roughly.
I'll answer the split it up part first, and then which one does it for me more. I am basically just an investor there now.
Okay. Yeah.
So I just see the high level decisions.
Yeah.
What's this product design going to be? Where we're going to go next? Who are we going to choose for this? What party we're going to be to? How much? Because we sponsor big things over there, like Carnival. That's a big party. We just got out of a 10-day expo when I was there.
Wow.
So stuff like that, right? And I don't have to. I just get to see the 100-foot view.
Yeah.
And the big decisions. So I don't have to put a lot of time into that. It is fun. It is like it's cool to go over there and to be in a big party like that with 5,000 people and seeing pretty much everybody drinking your drink.
Your product. Wow.
Yeah. It is. It's neat to see. And this last time I was over there, this last month, I just got back a couple of days ago. It did hit me. A couple singers came up to me like, "Wow, Colossus is yours." They're like, "Congrats! It's everywhere now, and everybody knows what it is. It's doing really well." And it's cool to hear that and see that.
Of course.
And there's nobody that doesn't know what it is. Even at the airport, even in May I was coming home, and I brought 2 suitcases just so everybody could try it. 4 cases.
Yeah.
4 cases of Colossus, 4 cases of the prototype energy drink we're coming out with, and I got stopped by narcotics. Because they thought it was something else.
Yeah.
and they all knew what it was.
Yeah.
And like, oh no, we know what this is. Yeah, we've seen it.
Yeah,
you're fine.
The owner of the company.
Yeah.
That's great.
And they're like, you own this? I go, yeah, partially. I'm the minority owner. And the majority is the family, right? But as far as, it is fun to oversee it, be a part of it.
Yep.
But which one do I enjoy more? Financial services, insurance, without a doubt. Because that was fun and I enjoyed it. I did. But this is something else. It's like the adrenaline that comes with it, the passion, the adventure every day. You don't know what each day will look like.
Yeah.
And it's something that I can control a little bit better. Like that's a project, a big project. But still a project. Where here I'm more in the driver's seat of what I do.
Yeah.
Over there you're kind of like, what's the demand like? What's going on?
Yeah.
It takes time.
Yeah, 2 totally
product awareness.
Yeah.
A product-based business is not easy.
Yeah. And it's interesting. I mean, I listen to a lot of podcasts, read a lot of books like you.
Yeah.
And they always say, typically, it's very, very difficult, like to focus on 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 different businesses and, kind of spread your...
You can't.
It's very challenging.
You can't.
So,
And even in this business, and I am more passionate about the financial services without a doubt. It just felt like it was what I was born for.
Right.
I always wanted to have a hand in it, and at Merrill Lynch, that wasn't like the right system or place for me.
Right.
Because you work till like 5 o'clock, and then it's like, what do you do the rest of the day?
Yeah.
Versus this, you could be on this till 11 p.m. at night and just go to sleep.
Business,
Correct.
Working, as a corporate agent or agency or whatever. Yeah.
And that's what it is.
Advisor.
Like it is like their own practice, but at the end of the day, they're subservient to Bank of America.
Yeah, that's right. 100. Yep. That's exactly right. Yeah.
And it's just that corporate life, it just wasn't for me.
Very different. Yeah.
It wasn't for me. And I definitely enjoy the services a lot more.
Yeah. No, this is great. This is great. So let me we're wrapping up here, and I want to ask you just a personal question. I think that, and I like to do this at the end of all my episodes. So you're still a young guy, obviously young professional, 29. Anything that you would change or do different? If you can go back to the 19-year-old, Alec, right out of high school, anything that you would have done a little differently, or anything that you now you wish you would have known back then that you can share?
I wish I was a lot more focused and driven. I wish I knew what I wanted.
Yeah.
Because I didn't.
Yeah.
And even when I was 22, 23, I still didn't.
Yeah.
And it gave me a lot of anxiety. And I see a lot of people in this business that there's 20-year-olds that kill it in insurance.
Yeah.
They do a good job and they pick it up very fast.
Yeah.
And I wish I had more direction at that age. I really do.
Yep.
And I had no idea what I wanted to do, and I wish I was more aware of maybe even like sales-based businesses and the power of what they can do.
Yep.
Because what it is, it's like, if you go work for, because I studied finance, right? So, the thing is like, what do you do from there? Do you get into trading? Do you get into private equity, hedge funds? All good routes, investment banking.
Yeah, but there's a lot.
You make good money there.
Yeah.
You have, financial freedom.
Yep.
You do not have geographic freedom.
Yep.
You do not have time freedom. You are a slave there.
Yep.
A well-paid one.
Yeah.
But still a slave.
Yeah.
So, and you at the end of the day, you are working for somebody else. So for me, that changes the dynamic in my brain 100%.
Completely, yes.
You know, so for
Yes.
example, I could still, even in insurance, like, so if I was in insurance and I was like a captive agent and I worked for a boss and, you know, I was restricted to their products and I was paid salary, let's say 80% salary, like 20% commissions. That would be very difficult.
Yeah.
Like my passion, you know, I might still enjoy it, but you know,
but
it
it's
might
not the
be
same.
very different
Not
how
the same.
I operate on that kind of a structure. Like I'd much rather have something like this where, you know, you are your own boss, but that's not really the focal point. The focal point is you're in a system where, you know, what you put into it is what you get out of it.
100. Yep. I was thinking the same. Yep.
And you're more in control.
You're right. That's a great answer.
Yep.
Yeah. You're right. No, that's awesome. All right. So where can the audience find you if they want to reach out? You know, I know the financial service side, the beverage company side. Do you want to share an email or website with the audience, social media, whatever you prefer?
I think I prefer social media.
Okay.
And it would just be my first name, Alec, ALEC, and then underscore LUACES. And that's my Instagram.
Alec _Luaces. Okay.
And if they want an email, it'd be Alec at SpartanLifeCo.com.
Okay, perfect. Which, by the way, if you want to get in touch, you can also reach out to us, and I would be more than happy to share his info. This was great. This was very interesting. I learned a lot. This was good for me.
That's awesome.
Hopefully the audience learned a lot. I mean, that's the goal every single month when we put these out. But I want to really, truly, personally thank you from my heart for coming down, spending time with us. Really, it means a lot.
Absolutely.
It means a lot to our agents, our audience, and it just we appreciate it. And I want to give you the opportunity right now. Any last words you want to leave everybody with before we put a bow on this?
I would just say thank you so much, you know, for the opportunity to join here at Levinson. You know, dealing with you guys has changed my life.
Awesome.
And a lot of ours. And it's just beginning. Like, we've only scratched the surface.
Thank you. That means a lot.
You know, and this is the best home for me. You know, I have a very good intuition when I find the home.
Yes. Yeah.
You know, for example, that business over there.
Yeah. Yes.
You know, who are my best friends and my partners over there.
Yeah.
You know, this system here.
Yeah.
You know, because where I was at before, you know, I was like, this is not it.
Yeah.
This is not it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like so many people, you know, get annoyed with like having to switch and go to different like IMOs and such, and it's like, well, did your first girlfriend, did you get married to her?
Right.
Maybe you did.
Yeah.
But how many times does that happen?
Yeah, that's right.
You know, you got to date around and see, you know, what the field is like. And,
Yeah.
you know, fortunately I have a very intelligent friend named Patrick that, you know, he guided me over here and told me about you guys. He had been telling me about you guys for 3-4 months and finally got me on the phone, and I knew that was it.
Oh, I love to hear that. And we feel the same. Honestly, it means a lot. I think, number one, and I said this earlier, I learned a lot. And I think the common theme here, just talking to Alec today, is about doing the right thing. And it's how everything comes back full circle. When your heart is in it, you're doing the right thing for your customers, for your agents, you know, for even the customers on the beverage side. Same exact thing, any business you're in. This whole episode was great. So I just want to thank you again for everything.
Thank you, Bill.
I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
And we'll definitely be in touch. And like I said, reach out to us and we'll share Alec's info, or he also shared his email and social media accounts. So thanks again, everyone. Let's have a great October and a great fourth quarter. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us for the Bill Levinson Experience. Please feel free to share this podcast with anyone you think would be interested. You may also visit levinsonandassociates.com and all of Bill Levinson's social media pages for more information.